And now, weighing in out of the blue corner, Josh the Punk Thompson. 100% agree. And on the other mic, he weighs in from the red corner, Big John McCarthy.
Hey everyone, this is Weighing In with Big John McCarthy and my man, Josh the Punk Thompson. This is episode 56 of our show, which you can subscribe to on YouTube, Spotify, Google Play, Stitcher, all these other things. What am I missing, Josh? Come on, there's got to be something.
YouTube?
Oh, I said YouTube. I said YouTube. Damn it. All right, but one of the things I wanted to get out before we really start is, no, I am not high. And no, I am not drunk, okay? I am. My last show, I was at 3 o'clock in the morning. This one, we're getting started, man. It's only like 12:45 here, so this is awesome. Okay, this is nice, and I'm awake, but no, I don't do drugs. No, I am not high. And yes, I do drink, but I never drink when I do a show, so sorry.
Well, John, I was drinking that day, so I can understand why people maybe thought I was drunk.
So was you. I do know that I was like sleeping. You know,
But I just think it just comes at different times. Like, you know, there's times where both of us look exhausted and tired and from putting up with Podcast Dave.
Well, it's Podcast Dave's job to make us look better. He's putting us in these positions where we look normal and shitty. It's just the way I am.
Well, let's jump right into it, man. The one thing we should talk about right away is Glover Teixeira.
Oh man.
My gosh. Dominant performance tonight against Anthony Smith. Absolutely dominant performance. It wasn't going his way in the first round. He made some quick adjustments. Second round, turned it on.
You know what? And this is what sometimes people don't get. You're going to have those fights. You had them where, goddamn, going in, I know I've got to weather the storm. I've got to get through this first round. This guy is explosive. He's athletic and he's dynamic. And you know what? I'm probably going to lose this first round. That's okay. I just need to make him work and set up little things that are going to build me into the second round. And that's what Glover did. He took some big shots. He took some hard shots. But damn, you got to love the head movement of Glover. You got to love, at the age of 40, all of that movement, everything he's doing. And man, when he sets his feet, he can still swat, man. He's got freaking power in his hands. And I was really impressed with Anthony when, Glover was he loves the arm triangle. He was trying to set up the arm triangle a couple of times. Anthony was on his back. He did good, but it was fatigue that started to get to Anthony Smith. The one punch, it hurt him, but fatigue was the thing that he couldn't stop. And that output that Anthony was, having in that first round, dude, he was throwing a lot of shots, a lot of kicks. There was a lot of output coming from him, and I think it was a little too much. It gassed him a little.
Yeah. How much of the commentary did you listen to?
Not much.
Okay, so the commentary with DC, and DC, I don't like to give him a lot of props because he's already got a big enough head. He's one of my closest friends, and I just like to give him a hard time.
Well, he needs a big head because it's going with the rest of his body now, because he is definitely fitting the role of the heavyweight.
Yeah, he can barely fit into his fitted suits and shirts now. Look, he had some good commentary tonight, and I think a lot of it had to do with the corner of Anthony Smith. They were barking orders and they never stopped. And as a corner, when you're doing that and your fighters normally pays attention, look, I know the fighter dictates what goes on in that cage. And if they want to do it, they're going to do it. But if they were on go, there was never a moment where the corner had stopped talking. You could hear them the whole time. And he's like, hey, push kick, long jab, push kick, long jab. They just kept going and going.
Well, he was following with that because that's what I was seeing, man.
And he had a lot of success in that first round. He even had some success in the beginning of the second round. But you could tell that he started slowing down a little bit, and he also didn't like the pressure of Glover Teixeira. When Glover had pushed his back to the fence, that's when it was started progressively going downhill. And once his back was the fence, he tried doing the push kick, and his back was leaning back. He was leaning back into the fence. His hands were not up when he was doing it. That was opening up his chin. Not that he got hit a whole lot clean in that position, but it opened up other things right from there. So when you push kick and lean back and put your back against the fence, chin's in the air, even if he doesn't land anything to the head, he comes right down low to the body, and Glover does some good body work and that good uppercut. And that's what kind of was the ultimate downfall later, like as the fight was progressing. He was just staying tighter with his defense. Glover was. He was fighting composed and relaxed. And not that Krause is not a good corner. The sign to me of a good corner is they're not barking orders all the time. They're barking orders of when they need something to be done. Hey,
You're saying that James Krause is barking out, because I saw James in his corner, but Greg Montoya was the guy that I saw going to
Krause was in the corner. Krause was the one in the corner. It sounded like him doing all what DC was saying as well, was he was the one continuously barking orders out of. And that's normally like, look, if you're I guess I was always told this is, especially when we're as an analyst and we're cage side calling a fight. If you're always at an 11, when something exciting happens,
there's nowhere to go.
There's nowhere to go. And if you're always at an 11 when you're cornering your guy, they don't understand what the sense of urgency is. So like, hey, I need you to get out of there. I need you to get out of there. That means that you're in a lot of trouble when I'm yelling at you like that.
Yeah.
But otherwise, keep doing what you're doing. Okay, sticking the jab. Great job. Silence for a while. Let him do his work. Okay, yep. And then get back to, okay,
gotta let him be.
Let's start maybe working on the leg kicks after the jab. Let's start setting other things up. Signs of a good corner is not when you're continuously giving your guys things to think about. Sure, in their mind, like, hey, keep the jab going. Cool. Keep the right hand going. Good. I think that had a little bit of potential of the downfall. I think a lot of it also is no crowd, which means you can hear crystal clear what your corner is saying. And if they're at an 11 the whole time and you're pushing the action, and it just showed as the round went on at the end of the second round, he just hit a little bit of a stump right there. It just slowed his pace slowed down, and Glover was already relaxed and composed and was able to push the pace and was able to put his back to the fence. And then that's where he did his work. Just true experience from someone like Glover, man. You can talk about his age. He just fought a very nice, calm, composed fight and looked phenomenal as the fight carried on. And the last place you want to be with that guy is on the bottom of him. I'm sorry, but his like you said, his side choker arm triangle is phenomenal. His top position, and you can tell he's got heavy hips. When he gets down on top of you and he likes to put the hooks in, you're carrying all of his weight. And I think the signs of Anthony Smith, and I've seen the signs of a lot of guys that are in the upper echelon, they haven't quite found out the times when you should rest. Anthony Smith rested in a lot of very bad very bad times. Okay. And in positions where there was really nowhere to go. Those are not positions that you rest in. Those are positions that you try to continuously try to get up and try to get to at least a little bit better of a position. And I know he was hurt, injured, rocked. He got hit, with some clean shots. But those are things in your corner. Hey, you got to get to a position where you're not able to take as much damage. Being on your hands and knees and on all fours, that is not a good position. Not at all. You need to focus to get into a side control, focus to getting back to a guard position, something where you have a little bit of offense. You have no offense from that position. And I didn't really see any of that effort. And he took a lot of shots in the position he didn't need to.
Oh, come on. I thought Anthony won the first two rounds. That third round, easy 10-8. In fact, John Anik, I heard, called it a 10-8. But a lot of people were saying, that might be a 10-7 because it was getting close to it. It was an overwhelming round. He took a ton of damage. There was multiple shots, multiple knockdowns. It was getting close if it wasn't. So 10-8 there and 10-8 again in the next round, fourth. I was kind of surprised as you look at the end of the fight, going into the fifth. Man, as the corner, you got to look at your guy. And
I was going to ask you that.
You got to look at body language. You got to look at what he's saying. You got to look at his demeanor. Is he looking at you in the eyes? I always look for fighters if they sit on the stool and their cornerman was in front and they just had their ass handed to them in a fight. I always look to see, where does the fighter's eyes go? Yeah. Because when a fighter's still engaged in the fight, he looks for his trainer and he looks at his trainer, or she looks at her trainer. When a fighter has decided, I just don't have it tonight, I'm just not, I can't beat this person, they start to take their eyes and they start to look down. They start to look at a place that it's not going to do them any good, but you can tell that their mind is getting disconnected from what's going on. And, you're looking at that and sometimes you got to save a guy from himself. Anthony's not going to quit. And sometimes we say, sometimes you have to save the fighter, not from their opponent, but from themselves.
Yep.
And even as the corner, you got to look and say, is it worth me putting my guy back out there? Do they really, from what I've seen, have a chance of pulling this fight back, of getting it back, of winning? And you got to look at it from what I was seeing after those last 2 rounds. Anthony was done going into that 5th round.
Yeah, I saw at the end of the second, Glover was able to land some clean shots. I didn't give him that round, so you're right. Nope. I had Glover losing the first 2 rounds, but he had landed, I think, the last 30 seconds or the last minute of that second round, he had landed some good shots. You saw that Anthony was already getting a little tired, and then the 3rd round is when it just basically escalated and he took over. But I want to go back to the Tony Ferguson and Justin Gaethje fight. You had gave a good breakdown.
That was Saturday.
Yeah, you're right.
So long ago.
You're right.
What are you talking about?
But you gave a great breakdown on things you look for when you go to stop a fight. Now, as a corner, I think those are things that are very similar. The things that you said.
Exact same.
Is he mounting any offense? Is he able to do anything? Is he able to get a takedown? Is he able to keep him pressed to the fence? Is he able to control the pace of the fight? All those things as a ref you're looking for. As a corner, you should be looking for those similar things.
Absolutely.
Now, I know that like with my corner with Bob Cook, Javier Mendez, Bob would always give it to me straight. Hey, like in the beginning of the 5th round with Gilbert Melendez, you need to go out there and knock him out and get it done. And you got to go out there and get it done. Like you're going to lose your title if this happens. And, I went out there and did my best. Didn't work. With Anthony, I feel like, and I've heard Bob say this several times, is I'm going to give you 1 or 2 minutes. He didn't say it to me, but I'm going to give you 1 minute in the end of this round. After you just got starched, in the second round, I'm going to give you 1 minute to stick and move. After that minute, I'm going to give you another probably minute if you're still doing well to try and get the finish or try and mount an offense. If you're not doing that, I'm stopping the fight. I understand corners giving their fighter an opportunity.
Sure.
And I understand, let them go ahead and go out there. But you could see, like you said with Tony Ferguson, when the ref stopped that fight, this was a fight where you saw the same thing. Anthony Smith just had nothing left in the tank. He wasn't mounting any offense. He wasn't able to get takedowns. He was taking clean shots. He was backing out with his hands up, or hands down, his chin up. Those are not signs of someone that's going to keep this fight going. And it just didn't have any snap really on his punch or kick or anything along those lines. I was actually thinking the same exact thing. I'm surprised the corner didn't stop the fight between rounds 4 and 5.
Yeah, I would have guaranteed if that was reversed, if Glover had won the first 2 rounds and then had taken the beating that Anthony took in the next 2 rounds, knowing his corner, John Hackleman
would have stopped it.
He'd have stopped the fight.
100%. Yep. I've seen Hack do it.
No doubt about it.
I've seen Hack do it.
That's one of the reasons I love Hack.
Yep.
He's always there. He does not care. I'm here to take care of my guy. I know my guy better than anyone. And that's the truth. And he would be there to take care of him. And that's, I'm not saying anything bad about Greg Montoya. He's a great trainer, great coach. And I've been in situations with him where he has absolutely taken care of his people. It's one of those tough calls especially when you have a guy that, like Anthony, he's not only training with you, he's going other places and training with other guys, and those guys are in the corner. It just becomes that, who's going to make that call? I don't want, if I make the call, is he going to then just go over here? It puts the trainer in a weird position, a position that they'll eventually not do something that maybe they should.
Well, that's another reason why fighters, when you do train like that, like with GSP, he has Faraz Sahabi. He makes whatever, even though he went and trained with John Danner, even though he went and trained other wrestling places, there's only one coach. As a fighter, you need to make sure that it's very important that that one coach understands whatever you do, whatever you call, I'm in.
And you believe in them.
And you believe
whatever
in them.
They say. If they tell you to go, you go. If they tell you you're done, turn it off.
I was blessed enough that I had 2 of them. The 2 of them always talked enough and they worked well together, Bob and Javier. And it was like, hey, if they couldn't get to me, they would switch between rounds. I'm going to go in the cage this time. And then they would talk to me like, hey, you got to get this done and see if it worked. And if it didn't work, then, you had to switch corners. I agree. There was a lot of things that we think could have been done. I just feel like in him, what is he, 31, I think, Anthony Smith?
No, Anthony's older than that.
No, I think he's 31.
He's 32.
Okay. They were talking about he was 31.
He's right there.
I think. Okay. So that being said, he's got still plenty of time in his prime. This is one of those fights where he literally fought a seasoned veteran, like one of the best in the game. Been around for a long time, fought the who's who. It just showed the fight IQ was there. He just bided his time, focused, patient, defensive, just pushed the pace slowly, progressively, just kept walking him down, touching him. And then eventually it led into some big shots and he was able to run away with the fight. Good fight. I would have liked, I'm just glad he didn't get knocked out to the point where it was one of those like face down, ass up. And because those type of knockouts could change your career.
They alter your career.
Yes.
And Anthony's the guy, if you look, I think Anthony in his first, I refereed Anthony when he fought Roger Gracie. And I've been around Anthony a lot, and he's just a good person, good guy. But his first 10, 11 fights, he was, a 500 fighter.
Yeah.
But he may have had 5 wins and 5 losses. So a lot of his early career, he was learning, and he was taking fights that he possibly shouldn't have taken back then against guys that he maybe was not ready for. But his run in the UFC has been very impressive.
Yeah, they said he's
had some great fights. They said he's got 18, a lot left in the tank.
He was 18-11 for a while, and then after he was 18-11, and then he ran off like on another. I don't know. Yeah, he ended up winning like 18 more fights or something like that. Now he's 30 something and 12 or
15.
What is he?
33 and 15.
33 and 15. That's pretty impressive, but I think they were saying when he was in the UFC, when he first came in, he was 18-11. Now he's 33 and 15. That's pretty fucking good. I mean, especially when you're in the UFC, you're fighting, top guys, you're fighting the who's who. It says a lot about him and his character. This is one of those learning curves. I mean, he's going to have to learn how to fight at a pace. You can't always be going at 110 miles an hour. There's got to be, I've said this for years about Michael Chandler. He's good. There's no doubt he's good. But he has the go pace, and it shows as he fights on. And I think Anthony tonight did that, and it worked against him.
I think part of it was Anthony decided that he was going to get rid of Glover.
Yeah,
he was gonna put him away in the first round, maybe second round, and get rid of him. And he was doing everything he could, to make that happen. It's just when that guy doesn't go away, you got to be there for the next round, and when you are tired. Changes the fight completely. But fantastic performance by Teixeira. I mean, I love Glover. He's a great human being, and he just showed exactly what you're saying, that fight IQ and the way that he went about that fight, knowing, I'm going to have to put up with some abuse here in the beginning, and I'm going to have to ride this out for a while. I'm going to swim in some deep waters while this guy is pounding on me. I just need to keep myself safe. He did all that, and then when it was his turn, he just kept that foot on the pedal and just put a whooping on a very good fighter in Anthony Smith.
All right, so what was your take on the Ben Rothwell and Ovis St. Preux?
I'm watching it, I'm going, it's about what I thought. Ben is a giant zombie. Mm-hmm. He just keeps coming forward. And I knew that, OSP he's just a good athlete, but carrying the extra weight was what my concern was, because when you're not used to carrying the weight and you're being pushed against, a big fighter that's, trying to push that pace, which Ben always tries to push the pace. He always comes forward. You don't see guys backing Ben off until he gets hurt. And knowing that OSP was going to be having that weight against a guy that was going to be pushing that pace and making him, have to back up, which takes more energy than going forward. It was my real concern is he going to have enough gas left? He made it through the fight, but there were times when he looked exhausted. If he had energy, if he wasn't so tired, if he wasn't, redlining in the RPMs as far as his heart rate, he had some moments where he was touching Ben and he was hurting Ben. He was getting those shots in, but, it shows that he can fight as a heavyweight. There's no doubt about it. It's just that he's got to get used to carrying that weight and not giving so much ground and moving so much that it's going to start to exhaust him, especially when the guy then puts his weight on him. Because Ben is good at pushing you into the cage, using his head, for position, using it like a third arm, and all of that starts to drain that gas tank.
Yeah. OSP used to fight in Strikeforce, then with the UFC.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. He hasn't gotten any better since he first started fighting. He's always been talented. He's always been athletic. He's always been good. Like but he hasn't got better. His defense hasn't got better. His striking really hasn't gotten a whole lot better. Maybe a tiny bit. We didn't see really a whole lot of grappling
his left kick has always been good.
It's always been good.
It's fast and hard, dude.
The other thing as well is that he's never had a ton of output. Never. He's always been a fighter that kind of seems like he waits to turn it on at the end of the fight, whenever or certain opportunities, but usually towards the end of the round to maybe try and steal the round. But when he throws, he lands. I didn't get it. Like if he would have fought the first 2 rounds with a little bit more of an output like he did in the third, I think he could have maybe got Ben out of there. Or at least maybe dominated more of the position and make Ben respect him a little bit more. And I know Ben just walks forward like a zombie, like you were talking about. But you get a guy like him with the speed, the reach, the range that OSP has. He throws a beautiful straight left hand.
Left hand?
Yeah, beautiful straight left hand. But there's not a whole lot of follow-up. And when he backs away and misses, chin's in the air, hands are reaching out. Those are not signs of someone that really is picking up the fighting. I don't mean like... I haven't seen any improvements from him. I think if you're just going to keep fighting, you're going to keep fighting. But at the rate that he's going right now with those type of progressions, I don't see where you're going to go. You're not going to be champion. You're really just fighting to make money. And I get it. But I wanted to talk to you about the scorecard. How'd you have it? Did you have it 30-27 or did you have it 29-28?
No, I had a 29-28 for Rothwell.
Okay. But but you didn't have it for OSP.
No, Sal D'Amato, I think, was the judge that had it for OSP. I think obviously the other 2 had it for Rothwell. That's why he got the split decision. But I don't agree with the fact that OSP won that fight. He did not win that fight.
No.
There was a couple moments, like I said, he touched Rothwell. I thought the last one he was more off balance when he went after him and stuff because they were just tired and off balance. But, there was some moments he could have, like you're saying, moments that there was opportunities for him to score. And he was trying to gain so much air that he's not throwing because I'm tired. You got to get used to carrying that weight if you're going to be a heavyweight.
Yeah. Yeah, very true. I mean, he's saying that this is pretty much like he's going to go back down to 205. I wanted to ask you this, though. There was a couple fighters. Mowgli Benitez tonight fought also. He fought up at 55.
Damn, he looked good.
He fought at 55. But this was only for one fight, and he fought, and then OSP fought at heavyweight. His shin
did not look good.
No, it was like a big vagina on his shin.
It was a big vagina, man. It was a large one on the middle of that shin.
They stuck they stuck the tampon in there to show how deep it was, and I was like, oh no, this isn't good, man. This is. I can see the memes going around now.
Oh, trust me, it's going to come up somewhere. But I'll tell you what, his opponent just. I want to say Morales from Venezuela.
Yeah.
Man, he looked good. He had some sharp striking. That was a good fight.
It's a great fight.
That was a really, really competitive fight where there was just little differences in that. The judges got it right. They gave it to the right guy. But Benitez fought a tough fight. But tell him to cut his damn hair.
I know.
What the hell, dude? What is with you guys at AK and your long hair?
No idea. I have no idea.
Go ahead and show me.
Oh, I'll show you. I'll show you. My barber got it. My barber's back at work, baby.
All right, baby.
That's right. I'm out there breaking the laws now. breaking the laws.
Man, when you see a guy keep on having a move, it's like, what are you doing, man?
That's so funny.
I used to tell Clay Guida, hey, man, your hair, the judges, they're seeing it just rock back and forth. And even when you're not hit, they're thinking you did. He goes, John, it's my trademark. Can't do anything about it. Okay.
It's funny you say that because I always thought kind of the same thing. I was like, oh, God, how come they don't cut it, this and that? But then I understand now, sometimes when they're used to training with it and they're used to fighting with it, it kind of works for them. Because when I fought Henderson, I went for a couple chokes and my gloves got stuck in his hair. And I just couldn't, I had to pull it out and go back in. And I regret to this day of not making him braid his hair. I regret to this day. There was moments where I felt like I could have had the choke and it wasn't there. And with Clay, I mean, I could see it being working for him. I mean, with Mowgli, it's not as long as Ben's and Clay.
Can you request to braid the hair?
Yes, if you request it, they have to do it. Correct? I'm like,
no.
I was told that if you make your complaint to the commission about that the commission,
as long as the hair is tied back, it doesn't have to be braided.
Even when it comes untied all the time, that doesn't make any sense.
No shit. Especially Benson.
Especially. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Dude, anyways. Okay, there used to be things in the rules about beards.
Yeah.
Must be clean shaven. It's like, yeah, well, where did that one go?
Yeah. You know? Well, boxing has that rule.
But you can't tell somebody, hey, you have to shave. Some people have, religions that it's part of their religion and stuff. So now you're going against you can't. This is a free country.
It can be clean.
The beard can be clean, but it says clean shaven.
Oh, no.
There's a difference.
That is a difference. I thought you meant like it just need to be cleaned up.
No.
All right. I don't know how we got on that little tangent right there, but that was something.
We did.
Okay. So what fight were we talking about? OSP and we were talking about Mowgli. I thought he looked phenomenal as well. That was one of those fights that I felt like should have been on the main card.
Good fight.
The other fight to me that was probably the most impressive was the Dober and Hernandez fight.
Drew Dober, baby.
Jeez, man.
Drew Dober looked good.
He's a fucking animal, that young guy.
That dude's got some thick ass legs and heavy kicks, man. He has gotten so much better. You talk about guys improving. You say OSP has not improved. Drew Dober has improved so much in his overall game and the way he is just attacking people. Because I'll give Alex Hernandez is tough. He is athletic. He's fast. He's a problem because he moves a lot. He doesn't stay in one spot. You got to be able to cut him off. Drew Dober was doing everything, just systematically breaking everything down. And when Hernandez would take him down, popping himself back to his feet. Beautiful job overall. Just outstanding performance. And again, a very good stop by Herb Dean.
Yes.
On a fighter that had given up. He was hurt, didn't really know where he's at. He's starting to turn. Get him out of there. Don't let that final nail in the coffin where he is, as you say, face down, ass up. You don't need that.
Yeah, I was actually expecting him to stop it a tiny bit sooner because you could tell he just wasn't in it. He was turning away. He was he really just wasn't there. I was expecting the stoppage a tiny bit earlier, but not by much. I understand why he let it go a little bit longer. What I was going to say was you have OSP that went up to heavyweight and you had Mowgli that went up. What do you think these guys are going up in weight for? Is it because they didn't want to cut weight because they didn't really have a long camp? Or is it because the UFC said, hey, we have a fight for you, but you have to fight at 155. And if you don't fight, we can extend your contract for a little bit longer. Because that's what happens when you turn a fight down. So guys were probably getting closer to the end of their contracts. And they said, hey, I have a fight for you, but it's at 155. Or I have a fight for you and it's at heavyweight. Take it. And if you don't, then we extend your contract for 4 to 6 months.
See, I always look at it though, as the promotion. If you offer a guy that normally fights like Benitez, fights at 145, I'm going to offer you this fight at 155. You lose the fight. It never seems to me that promotions look down or look badly upon that fighter when they lost a fight in a weight class that's not their weight class unless they're going down. When they try to go down, kind of counts against them. If they're trying to go up and they go up because you say, I have a fight for you, but it's going to be at 155, not 145. It doesn't seem like it ever is looked or frowned upon by the promotion.
It shouldn't be. I don't think it should.
No, it shouldn't. It shouldn't.
I was just wondering if you had heard anything on the backside of why these guys were fighting at weight classes they don't normally fight at. Is it because they just wanted to get paid and make money, or their contract was coming up and they offered them the fight and they were told to be extended? Whatever reasons. I was wondering because those are the things that go through my mind. Like, why is this guy fighting? I train with Mowgli, and I was like, why are you fighting 55? What the fuck? So, I mean, I do know he cuts a lot of weight, so 55 probably was a lot better for him, to be honest. But he fought well there. Yeah, he did. It's a huge weight cut for him. Realistically, I mean, he probably walks around about 72, 75, somewhere in there, which is what I walk around at 55. So for him to get down to, to 45 is fucking just nasty. Just nasty. I mean, he's good though. Like, I mean, he's so fast, and did you see his shin was so disgusting?
That was beautiful.
That was
a good looking shin.
The only concern I have with that is that that's one of his biggest weapons. And if you look at Luke Rockhold, his game started to change after he fought Yoel Romero, because that he'd thrown a couple leg kicks, Yoel had checked, and it split his shin open to the point where Luke ended up having skin grafts. He's had stitches, he had skin grafts. He's and now every time he kicks and every time he connects perfectly on that same spot, it splits back open and bleeds. That's one. And two is it ends up looking like a softball. As soon as he makes contact with that area, it swells back up and it's pretty much it's not usable anymore. So when you have something like that with Luke, and now you have Mowgli, who that's one of their biggest weapons, is that back leg kick, like that back body kick, back head, all those things. And so fast and so good from both of those guys. I mean, that's one of those biggest weapons, like, you just can't get rid of. You can't afford to lose. It changes the way you fight.
It can, but he's gonna have to start to be a little more selective in how many times he's throwing it out.
Yeah.
When a guy is checking, and you got to set that kick up so the guy can't check.
Yep. Very true.
That's just part of the fight.
Yep. Start setting up that left hook more to get them to cover and then throwing it right after, or possibly throwing them at the same time. That most people don't do that. They usually throw it and then come back and then throw the kick. Gives the guy enough time to check in defense. True. What other fights were you impressed with?
Man, Andre Arlovsky came out and he fought against Philippe Lins, who Philippe used to fight in Bellator. Then he went to the PFL and he won the PFL's heavyweight championship, but now he's in the UFC. But I don't know what Andre's doing with his footwork. He kept going to southpaw, and he can throw. He likes throwing his left kick, from a southpaw stance. But every time he would come forward to throw, he'd take this giant step forward, and he'd end up in an orthodox position throwing his hands, and it was awkward, and he looked uncomfortable being as a southpaw. He looked comfortable when he was in an orthodox stance. But every time that he would go into the southpaw stance, he just didn't look, he couldn't throw his hands from a southpaw position. Couldn't throw his hands correctly. And he would always have to switch himself to go into an orthodox stance to be able to throw his hands. It was really weird. Yeah.
So I went through a phase where the switching thing became one of my things that I would do. And it was because when I fought Gil, I realized when guys switched southpaw on him, he kind of backed away. And when you have someone who puts as much pressure on you as like someone like a Gilbert Melendez, I would do anything I could. When I needed to rest, I'd switch. And every time I'd switch, he'd take a couple steps back. Okay, let me see what he's going to do. But then also, if you're going to do that, you need to have a set group of combinations that you throw. So as soon as you switch, go right into your, I would throw a little right hook, straight left with a body kick or head kick, or I would go right to inside leg kick to come back with a straight left. And I would just end up right off of that. I'd try to grab you, or I'd circle out going back to my normal stance. I had a setup. I had just a handful of combinations that I loved to throw from that position from when I switched to southpaw. Then I went back to my normal stance because I did everything from that position normally. So what you did is you made them think, but it was always the same. In a 3-round fight or in a 5-round fight, you switched a lot, but I didn't always throw a lot from that position. I'd switch, get them to back away or see what they would do, and then I'd switch back and then throw my combination. Or throw the push kick to kind of keep the jab, like a long range jab. I saw a little bit of what you saw, the hesitation, like the coming back, and then just look awkward. It didn't look like he was comfortable being in that position. No, and when that happens, you got to set up a couple things that you're comfortable doing so you can throw them out there when you need. And also too, the biggest thing is your defense from that position, is making sure that no matter when you switch, then when people throw at you, that your defense is on par for that position from when you switch southpaw. Because remember, everything's backwards. If you're normally conventional and you switch to southpaw and things come, you dip right into the power. And that's not a good thing. Or you dip the wrong way when they're doing things. And that's not what you want to be. Those aren't the positions you want to be in. So you got to make sure that you kind of know where your defense is. And that when you switch, you make sure that it stays up in those proper positions, because that can get you in a lot of trouble. That's why I never hung out there very often. I threw my shit and got out, and those are things there's learning curves to it, but try not to do it in a fight against someone who's really good.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, there was the very first fight of the night, Chase Sherman, who was, with UFC, then he got cut and they brought him back on short notice. God damn, he looked good though. He looked so much more comfortable. Now he was fighting a guy that I thought was not truly ready to be there. Tough guy, just skill wise was just a little bit lacking, but damn, the Vanilla Gorilla, I always love that name. He looked good, man. That was one of the best performances I ever saw. And Chase has had some wars where he's had these great fights, but he takes way too much damage. Yeah. And this one, he was smart, didn't take all the damage. He had his opportunities, came in, hit to the body beautifully. A lot of good body shots. And boy, you want to talk about body shots. Ray Borg against Ricky Simone. My God.
Yeah.
Dude, Borg, especially in the third round, he went to the body so many times. Well, Ricky has definitely got a serious core because he got hit with some big shots and he kept coming to back. What a beautiful demonstration of technique and how to land a body shot correctly. That was a really good fight. I enjoyed that one.
How'd you score that fight?
I had Ricky winning. I had Ricky winning 29-28.
Okay.
I gave one round to Borg. I'm trying to remember. I think it was the third round.
Yeah.
He had lost the first and the second, but I think he won the third one. But Ricky had those 2 rounds. Borg had to get rid of him.
Good fight though. Very good fight.
Oh,
very
really good fight.
Very active.
Very
right in front of each other. Very competitive. I liked everything about it. Very good fight.
Ricky just seemed a little bit too big, too strong, as far as when he got his hands on Borg. And Borg's a really good grappler. He was able to pick him up and put him down and put weight on him and make him have to be on his back longer than he wanted to be.
Got it.
But on the feet, Borg's hands looked good, man. He was fast, sharp, and those body shots, my hat's off to him. Those were beautiful.
Nicely done. Nicely done. What else? What else? What else is there to talk about?
Well, there's a card this Saturday.
Yeah, there's a card Saturday. Let's do that card later. But there was a little bit of stuff on the buzz in the news. What was some of the buzz in the
I know what you want to talk about.
What do you want to talk about?
Not me. It's what you wanted to talk about.
What I actually...
You wanted to talk
CTE
about...
kicked in and I forgot, to be honest.
Dom Cruz and all of his complaints about...
Oh, I wanted to know your opinion. I didn't want to...
Go ahead.
I don't... Here's the thing is, I don't know. Did the ref say anything to him on social media?
No.
Okay.
No.
Someone, I thought, posted a comment from him, but obviously you can make these up.
Chael actually came at me and said, hey, is this legit? And it was, a Twitter account with Keith Peterson. I go, no, that's not Keith.
Okay.
It's
I think that's what I saw too, probably. It was a tweet back and forth. And he said something about, I was trying to stop the fight before you got more CTE, but obviously it didn't work. Something along those lines. But I was like, wow, that's pretty ballsy for a ref.
That's not it. Well, that would be ballsy for a ref, but that's not the ref.
Okay. So there's that. But then go ahead and talk to me about what.
Let's talk about that. Okay.
Let's talk about it.
Here's the thing. We talked about it a little bit. Was it a bad stoppage? No, it's not bad. Could it have been better? Yes. Okay, but Dominick got hit with a big knee.
Yeah.
Okay. He goes down and he is trying to frame himself up so he can try to get back to his feet, and he's taken a lot of shots. He takes 12 unanswered shots. So Keith Peterson is there to try to say, I'm trying to let you go, and I'm also here. I want to protect you when you can't protect yourself. And when you're not protecting yourself and you're taking those shots, it's that split-second decision. Okay, that's it. I'm not going to let you go anymore. And he makes it. And right then, Dom's trying to get himself up. So I can understand why, I can always understand why Dom is upset, because most fighters are upset when you stop the fight, because they feel like, oh, I could have gone more, especially in, that position, championship fight. But what Dom did by saying, oh, he smelled like cigarettes and alcohol.
Ooh,
okay.
I didn't read that.
Well, first off, what you're saying, you can't prove. Yeah. So you're making a bullshit statement. All right. Second, you're not only ripping that official, and he can't defend against it.
Yeah.
All right. You're not only ripping that official, you're ripping every other official that's there. Because do you think that if Keith Peterson was drinking or smelled of alcohol, that Herb Dean wouldn't go to the commission and say, hey, he's got a problem, we can't let him work?
Yeah.
You don't think Jason Herzog or Dan Merglader or any of them would have gone? They all would have said, hey, you're not working tonight, because it's too important to all of those guys that the job is done right. All right. So when Dom makes this blanket statement, he's taking a very wide paintbrush and making very big strokes when there's no defense against what he's saying, even though what he's saying is a crock of shit. All right. Flat out. Keith Peterson doesn't drink. So if he was smoking, which I've never seen him smoke, so is it possible that he's had a cigarette? Okay. Then I know that Dom came out and said, oh yeah, Jeremy Stevens said that he helped that guy get to his room because he was hammered.
Oh.
Is that true? No. But when Dom says it, what does it mean? He's trying to create this thing like, I was robbed. You weren't robbed. You had the opportunity to go in that cage and fight the champion. You did. You were doing a great job against him, even though he was winning and he was landing big shots, but you got caught. Yeah. You got caught with a big knee, and then you got caught by the shots, and it's one guy's decision. It's his power to pull you out of the fight, and that's what he did. And you know what? Be man enough to say, I don't agree with it. That's okay. I don't like it. That's okay. But don't start making false accusations. It's wrong.
Yeah.
There's no validity to what you're saying.
Yeah. I feel like moments like that, though, can tarnish someone's legacy. Not talking about the ref. I'm talking about Dom. Someone who's very well respected in the sport. And sadly, the casual fans and even fans that don't know Keith, they're gonna believe it. So now they're gonna just continue to look out for him or watch what he does when he's at hotels and whatever it is. And it's unfair. It's very unfair. And I would never have guessed something like, I would never have thought someone like Dom would say something like that or do something like that. But I mean, I understand though too. This was one of those fights he hadn't fought in almost 4 years, 3 years, something like that. And there's a lot of emotions going through his mind.
Sure there is.
He's upset over the decision, which for me, I felt like the stoppage, it wasn't a bad stoppage, but like you said,
no, it could have been better.
It could have. And
sure.
I would have liked to have seen the fight go longer because it is Dominick Cruz. But all of those things being said, when you hear a former champion in a championship fight say things like that about a referee, it tarnishes the legacy of him because you're making up excuses, and that Dom's never been that guy. No. And that to me is an excuse that it just is very unfortunate because he doesn't need to. I still look at you as you're one of the greatest fighters ever to do it.
One of the greatest bantamweights there's ever been.
And so it's sad to see, but I understand the frustration on his part. On his part, on his part. No, I have not been drinking, and I'm definitely not high.
Josh smells like alcohol and cigarettes.
Smell like alcohol and cigarettes.
You smell like alcohol and cigarettes from here. I'm telling you right now.
So, yeah, it's unfortunate because because now you're saying that he doesn't drink, and I've never seen him smoke, and I've never seen him drink either.
Smoke.
So
now, I know that he sings in a punk rock band. How's that? So
yeah.
He's always froggy voice, man.
Yeah, he does have a froggy voice.
He does, man. That's why I used to call him Froggy. Remember our gang, little Froggy.
No, that's
Keith.
What is that? A cartoon from like the 20s?
Oh yeah, it was a TV show, man.
Oh,
but
go ahead. What were you saying?
He's like this tall with a voice that is just like.
Yeah,
he's a great guy though.
He is a great guy. Nice.
And I've never ever seen him smoke, drink, any of that. And it's one of the things, Josh. Like, I always made it I would never ever drink at a show. Before the show, even after the show when I was officiating. Now I drink now with you
every time
after the show. Okay.
Every time.
But you know,
I've gained the COVID-15, but it's 15 pounds.
But you know, as simple as it is, have you ever seen me drunk?
No.
I would never drink to the point I get drunk. It's like, I'm not that guy. I'm not that child anymore. There's no point to
leave that up to me. Leave that up to me, buddy. Leave that up to me. I went like 20 years only being able to drink like a week after my fight, then back to training.
There you go,
man. So I'm making up for lost times. Yeah, it's unfortunate. I think it's unfortunate, but hey, things have been said now, and hopefully they can meet and chat and talk about it eventually and get it worked out. Who knows?
Hopefully they will.
It sucks because Dom's got such a big name in the sport. Not just that, but he's so credible. Like he's always been credible. He's one of those guys that we talk about fight IQ. We talk about how smart he is as an athlete, how great he is as an analyst. And to hear something like that be said that's not true, it's unfortunate.
Yeah.
What else? What were we talking? We were talking about, I wanted to bring up that you brought up, was it you that texted or was it you that texted something else today?
The May 23rd.
May 23rd card is canceled because Las Vegas is not going to be open yet, is what they're saying.
Yep.
And so, okay.
Yep.
Khabib stands in a coma, apparently.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's a sad thing.
I didn't know it was. I had reached out to him.
Well, he had pneumonia recently.
Yes, and I don't think he's been out of the hospital since, to be honest. Yeah, I had reached out to him and replied and sent him a message, and he had sent me back, "I'm good, brother," and that was pretty much it. So I knew he was not good, and that's it, man. So I don't know. That sucks because he is so close. For those of you guys that don't know, Khabib's dad is like everything to him. There's not anything in the world that he wouldn't do for his father. It doesn't matter what it is. His dad is the most important person like in his life, and you see it everywhere they go, he never stops talking. Even when he's here training, talks to his dad 2-3 times a day, and the time change and the difference and everything, it's crazy.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to him. He's constantly making sure that his dad is part of his life every single day, 2-3 times a day, talking to him.
Did you guys see that even Conor put a classic tweet?
Yeah, Conor put out a very nice tweet, saying, prayers to his dad, and hope everything comes out okay. And it's like, there's nothing you can do. All you can do is say, hey, let's pray, that everything ends up good and he makes it through this. But I heard he's in a coma now. I don't know if that's an induced coma or what, but it's not good.
Well, I figured something was a little different or weird when they basically had extended the fight for Justin until September. And then today, Dana came out and put out a response basically saying about his dad was definitely not doing well. And then more news leaked out. But, I mean, I think, honestly, my honest opinion is that he's going to take some time off. I don't think he's going to fight. I don't think he's going to fight in September. I don't think he's going to fight in October. I don't think he's going to fight in November. I think he's going to stay home. I've said this for years. This is one of those things about him that family is so important to him that he does not care about the UFC. He does not care about money. Does not care about anything.
Not care about money. He told the Nevada State Athletic Commission, keep my check. It was a $3 million check. Go ahead and keep it.
He does not care.
You gotta love that.
He does not care. And I mean, like, he even would tell us, he's like, up until even when he got, I don't know if he still does now, but up until I think he fought for the title, he was still living with his mom and dad and his wife and his kids too, still living with mom and dad. They have no desire to not be around each other. And I gotta just tell you, I think this opens, I think it opens the door for Justin Gaethje and Conor McGregor to fight for the title and the interim title until Khabib is ready to fight. And I think the UFC would be willing to let him continue to keep his title until he's ready to fight, given this circumstance, knowing that he is closer to his father than any other fighter has pretty much ever made. Sure, everyone's close to their father. They would, they would love to be, or they are, and they're very important to them. But this is just, you've known from the very beginning, it's just different. And he just doesn't care. He doesn't care about anything else. His family to him is the most important. And I can't stress enough. I could see this end up being a Justin Gaethje and a Conor fight now for the interim title to see who fights Khabib next later on down the road. It is sad. My heart breaks for him because I know how close he is with his family.
Yeah, all you can say is, hey, prayers to his family, and I hope his dad makes it. It sucks.
Yeah. What else? Stop picking your nails, kid. This is why I get on you about things. Look, I finally threw over a year.
Dude, as soon as you said picking, I'm going, no, don't tell me he's picking his nose.
No, it's close enough. His nails, he's probably digging out the stuff from picking his butt from his nails.
Oh, man.
Go ahead.
I don't even know what the fuck you were saying.
Well, I asked you what was next.
Now we've got Podcast Dave, who's either high or drinking.
Yeah, he's flustered. Mumbling. He's flustered over there
mumbling.
Even when he speaks, it sounds like gibberish. The Scottish accent just ruins it all.
Are you going to cover the Saturday's card?
The Saturday's card. Okay, yeah. Talk to us. What's the Saturday's card?
Walt Harris, baby.
Yep.
Against Overeem. That's the main event. Walt Harris has been fighting so well, but you got to look at what he's coming off of. The loss of his stepdaughter. Yes. And everything that happened there, man. That's, it's either going to work for him or somehow it's going to work against him. I honestly think it's going to work for him. I think he's got this thing where he believes she's with him now and will be there, and he's going to just have that extra cannot be stopped, cannot quit. He's got purpose. He's got something that he's always fighting for, and that's to make her proud. So I think Walt Harris is just going to be he's going to be a handful for everybody.
Yeah, he's extremely talented. We just got to find out where his mindset is.
That's the real question. Yeah, know he's got the talent.
Yeah,
he's got skill. He's fast. He's big. He's strong. He's technically really good. All up there.
Yeah.
How's it going to be? If that's going to be strong, man, he's going to be a beast.
The other thing though too is, how's Alistair after his last fight? How is he?
You look at his last fight. He fought well.
Yeah.
He fought really well. It was. I'm not sure, but let's say the last 10 seconds when he got hit.
Yeah.
Of the fight, and he went on his ass. He did, but he was not out.
No.
And he was actually getting up because Rosenstruck was walking away, and Murgalata stopped the fight, and that's okay. He could do that based upon what he was seeing and that shot, but that fight could have actually continued on too because he was not out on and unable to control his body. So he fought a really good fight, and he had won that fight all the way up to that point.
Yeah, he was dominant. I felt like he was dominating the fight up until that point.
Yeah. He fought a really smart fight.
I think with knockouts like that, damage like that, I know Alistair's been around a long time. He's fought the who's who from kickboxing to MMA. Everything. I just think it's got to be in your mind, man. It's got to be in your mind that you got knocked out. The Ngannou, the knockouts now are the Ngannou knockout.
They're piling
up.
Dude, the Ngannou one. That knockout, dude, the toes were stiff and curled. That one was nasty.
Yeah, I felt like I saw his soul.
My cervical spine hurts every time I watch it.
Oh man, and the back of his head hit the middle of his back.
It did, dude.
I was like, what the?
He did a standing scorpion off a punch.
Yes,
without the feet, man. It was crazy.
Yeah, so that fight got moved to the main event because Amanda Nunes fell off, right?
Yes.
And then is Felicia Spencer still fighting?
No, Felicia Spencer is going to be fighting Amanda Nunes.
That's right.
Coming up.
Got bumped.
They rescheduled that.
Wasn't that supposed to be the May 23rd card? Now it got that. Now it got bumped to June 6th. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, a lot of things going on. What's another fight on that card?
Claudia Gadelha is fighting Angela Hill.
Ooh.
Yep. Overkill Hill.
If Claudia gets her down, I don't see it going very long.
Yeah, that's the problem. In the stand-up, Angela is good. She's sharp. She's athletic. She's a tough fighter, and her takedown defense is way better.
Yep.
And her ability to get off of her butt or off of the back using the cage is way better. It's just that Claudia is on the ground. She's got really good ground skills.
I trained with her for a while.
Yeah, she's good. You know, I actually did a little roll thing with her at the old UFC center there that was there. And she's got skills. She's got good body position. She knows how to try to make herself heavy, and she's got good submission. So obviously in the stand-up, it's close. I would actually think that I would give the advantage to Angela.
On the stand-up?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And when it hits the ground, I think Claudia has a bigger advantage if it hits the ground than Angela has in the stand-up.
Yeah, Claudia is extremely strong. Extremely strong. I think her wrestling lacks a little bit, but she does power her way to takedowns. Top position, she's nasty good. When I train with her, she tried to rip my fucking knee and my ankle off a couple times. I swear, I was so mad at her. But she's gotten so much better also since then on her feet. So now she puts everything in the combinations together, mixed in with her wrestling. She's gotten a lot more confident with everything that she's doing. I definitely give the stand-up advantage to Angela Hill, but I give the power advantage on the stand-up to Claudia. Angela Hill's got the reach, the range, and the output, though, if she can keep her away with that long push kick, those long jabs, those long combinations. If she can do that, she may have a chance of outpointing her, or catching her clean and maybe rocking her and maybe a TKO somewhere in there. I don't think so, though. I don't see that.
You got to figure Claudia was twice with Joanna.
Yeah.
And
the second one was really, really
5
close.
rounds.
Yeah, 5 rounds, and it was close.
Claudia, she had won the first couple.
Yep. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm definitely. Awesome. I mean, I'm gonna always probably root for Claudia because I like her and train with her and stuff. But Angela Hill's gotten a lot better since she first started in the UFC. She's also found who she is. I think as a fighter. In the beginning, she didn't really know who she was. Am I a stand-up person? She tried to mix it all up? Am I really light on my feet, stick and move, or am I?
She went on that Ultimate Fighter show. She had one professional fight.
That's crazy.
Okay, she goes on that show, and then she starts fighting, and then they released her. She went to Invicta. She became the champion.
Yeah,
and then worked her way back into the UFC, and she's been there ever since. She's fighting well now.
Yep, she is.
She really is.
That makes for a very good fight, though. I think Claudia's going to impose her will and get the win, but I think it's going to. I think
she's definitely the favorite.
Good fight.
Yeah, it should be fun.
Who else?
Then there's Edson Barboza versus Dana.
At 145.
Would you get off of you porn, please, and just start focusing on what we're doing? It's really killing me.
What are you talking about?
You're driving me crazy. Every time I ask you, hey, what's next? So you have to get out of 4 screens because you're on YouPorn or whatever it is. No. You're on that, and then now you come back and then, okay, what's the fight?
No, I was actually looking at Angela Hill has t-shirts on pro wrestling tees.
Oh, that's cool. Can we get back to the card, please?
Well, yeah. You're the one that asked.
Angela Hill has shirts on pro wrestling tees. Okay, go ahead. What's next?
Edson Barboza and Dana.
Dan, how do you say his last name? Ige. Is it Ige? Ige, right?
Wow.
I think it's Ige, yeah.
Ige.
He's
IGE.
fucking good.
He is good.
I trained with him at AKA recently because he came out for Khabib's last fight, and fuck, he's good. I trained with him at oh gosh, who's the really good jiu-jitsu guy? He's in Vegas. There's a ton of them out there. Duh.
Drysdale.
Small little guy. Cabrinho. Because he trains at Cabrinho's place there. So I train with him there. Ali's lives right down the street. So everyone went there to train there and grapple with him and train with him a little bit there. Plus at Randy's place, Extreme Couture. He's gotten so much better though. So much better since I trained with him back then. And when I trained with him here at AKA, I was like, God, you're like a totally different fighter. Positioning, confidence, everything. I'm like fucking strong as hell. Like so much better. And I've seen his fights recently and I'm like, You're on a tear, man. Whatever you're doing, keep doing because phenomenal. But Barboza
and the stand-up, dude, he's so technically good. But Barboza's stand-up is beautiful.
But if you put pressure on him, he fights a kickboxing style and he backs down. We saw it with Justin Gaethje. He backs down with his hands out here a little bit. He's open. As long as you stay in the pocket and grill on him and stay out of the kicking range, you have a good chance for success. In that dirty boxing range, that grinding range, you've got to be in that inside boxing, dirty boxing range, and knees, elbows, clinching, takedowns, whatever it is. He's not going to be easy to take down. We saw that with Khabib. Even though he was able to manhandle him, get him down, he still had a hard time a couple times getting him down in that fight. And I see Dan having a hard time a couple times getting him down if he needs to try to get him down, which I think he's going to stay, press him to the fence, get dirty, get nasty. I think that's a style for him that leads for success. He's got to stay inside that boxing and kickboxing range, and that dirty. He can't be in the kicking range. He
cannot be in the kickboxing range.
No, he's got to be out.
He has to be in a boxing range. If he stays outside in a kickboxing range, he's going to get brutalized by the kicks. Barbosa sets his kicks up so well, and you watch a guy's feet for what kicks he's going to throw and how he's going to spin, and Barbosa is so tight in his footwork when he's going to spin on a kick or anything. You look and you go, God damn, I didn't even see that thing set up, man. That's crazy how good he is at it. But that's a good fight. It's going to be interesting because Barbosa was not a small lightweight.
Yeah.
I don't know how he's going to make that 145.
I don't know either. That's the other thing is, like, you're going down to 45. Are you going to be the same halfway through the second round?
He might not.
I mean, he also, to be honest, he was never like the most conditioned athlete. Like, he looked like he carried too much muscle for his body. And as the fight went on, he looked like he cut a lot of weight. And as the fight went on, he slowed down. Yeah. Everything slowed down. Like, you could see, I remember in certain fights where he kept getting taken down with Khabib, and some other guys were just pushing on him. And you could just see his eyes were glazed over. Like he was just going through the motions, just pushing on the head, trying to get up, laid back down, just the sense of just frustration. But I've seen it in plenty of guys that are so tired that they're just going through the motions, and they have that glossed look over their eyes of I'm just not here, but I'm here. You know what I mean? Like, you've trained your body for so many years to do these moves in certain positions, and you just continue to do them, but you're really not even there. Like, you hear fighters tell it all the time, shit, after I got hit with that shot in the second round, I don't even know how I got to the 12th round and I won. It's because it really is all just a haze. Your body, you've trained it so much. It can go through the motions without you really even being there a whole lot.
Oh, there have been plenty of fighters that go in the back and said, how did I lose that fight?
Yeah.
What do you mean lose? You won. You won. I won. How did I win?
Exactly. Exactly. That's crazy. I tell this story. I've told this story several times, but the Pat Healy fight, I won the first round, lost second round. And at the third round, Bob's like, you just cannot lose a takedown. And like a minute and a half in, I lost a takedown. And in my mind, I'm like, fuck it, just stay down. I fucking seriously was like, fuck it, just stay down. But as I'm saying that to myself in my head, my hands posted. I'm not saying anything. No, I'm actually still saying, no, it's okay. You'll be all right. Just if you lose on the ground, no big deal. He was bigger than you. And I was giving all these excuses in my head.
He was bigger than you. That's the excuse you're going to go with.
He was huge. It was so big. 190 something by the time we fought. He was enormous. Anyways, he puts his hand, I put my hand down on the ground. I just start getting back up. I'm like, bro, I'm trying to talk myself into quitting right now. Let me quit. And fucking my body was just going. It's just one of those things. You've done it for so many years and so long. I think your body just goes in and your mind just needs to back it up.
Well, I had the two fights for Barbosa. I did his fight against Tony Ferguson, and I did his fight against Khabib. And in his fight against Khabib put so much pressure on him, and I thought he was gonna, physically break from the never did. He kept coming out there trying, and although, at times, he was getting taken back down and struggling to get himself back, never quit. In the Tony Ferguson fight, you could see him physically get exhausted.
Yeah.
To the point where then Tony locks up the darts and he's done. But physically broke from the pressure. And I think he learned from that fight. And that's why he didn't break when he fought Khabib. So he's a handful for anyone. It's going to be interesting. I'm not too sure about the weight cut. The weight cut, it seems to me, he's a really big guy for 145 pounds to be able to make that weight.
I almost would like to have seen him go to 70 because the guys there.
Hello.
If you put him against a guy like, I mean, I know Colby's a great wrestler, and I know so is Usman, but I'm saying if you put him against some of the guys that are there, they just don't have the kickboxing level, and not many do.
Tell me you wouldn't like to see Barboza fight Masvidal.
Oh,
that'd be good. Fight. Come on.
Fucking nasty fight. Barboza, Masvidal.
Awesome. Both of them, technically. Masvidal's stand-up is technically really sharp. He's got a couple of things that he does really well.
Yep.
So
I think him and Stephen Thompson would be a great fight. Barboza and Stephen Thompson.
That would be fantastic.
I also wouldn't mind seeing the T Wood and Barboza fight because T Wood doesn't utilize his wrestling as much. Like
in that fight, he would.
Yeah, he would definitely want to. He would definitely want to. But Barboza, his takedown defense is not bad. I mean, it didn't work against Khabib, but like I just feel like if the guys are not continuous grinders like Colby and like Usman, like T Wood's not really, he's not a grinder. He's someone that kind of sticks on that outside a little bit, uses his speed and his power. Sometimes he'll pressure the fence, but he's not that guy. And so Barboza and him would make for a very interesting fight. Fuck him and Leon Edwards. Fuck that. I mean, I would give the nod to Leon because Leon's wrestling's gotten a lot better. His jiu-jitsu game's gotten a lot better, and he's putting things together a lot better. So that I would leave that lean to him. But anyways, I don't think there's what else. What other fights are on that card?
Erik Anders and Krzysztof Jotko. I don't know either of them.
I don't either.
Krzysztof Jotko is a tough fighter, just a grinder, guy that just stands in there. Tough dude. It's gonna be fun.
Okay.
Also, isn't Erik Anders on that card?
Yeah, he's fighting Krzysztof.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Erik Anders is super athlete, comes from Alabama. Alabama Crimson Tide football team.
Oh.
And he's he's had some great performances, and then he's had some not so great. It was really, he had that fight against Khalil Roundtree that second round he just got brutalized. It was a 10-7 round actually, if you're looking at it, but came back in the third round and was actually competitive in it, even though he lost the fight. But Erik Anders is just such a good athlete. But him against Krzysztof Jotko, that's a good fight. That'll be interesting. Jotko he's good. He's good on the ground. Stand up, not great, but tough.
Yeah.
So should be fun.
Dave, would you like me to get you a tissue? Because you keep.
Hey, the other thing I forgot about.
Let's hear it.
The opening fight, Michael Johnson against Moises.
Yes.
Did you see it?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Johnson, beautiful job in the first round. And so to the point that Moises come out.
Yep.
Scrambles dives to his back. Who the frick told these people that's a heel hook?
It was just a straight ankle lock, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
They called it a heel hook. I said, what is wrong with these people? Do they not understand what submission they're looking at?
There was
straight ankle lock. That was it.
There was moments where I felt like the commentary was a little bit behind tonight.
That's why I turn it down. I'm
being honest, and nothing against all three of them. I actually really enjoy listening to them. Previous fights, this fight for some reason, I don't know if something was wrong with the telecast or like the view, like the actual, but it seemed like they would say, "Oh," like the shot would land, and then they would say, "Oh, beautiful right hand," but it was like 2 or 3 seconds later. So I don't know if something was off tonight as far as how they were filming or what was going on, but it almost sounded like they were either ahead, like the fight on the TV was a second or two ahead or behind, something like that, because they would say,
how is the fight behind the broadcast?
I don't know. Something, it was weird. It would say they would say, "Oh, great uppercut," but the uppercut hadn't landed yet, and then the uppercut would happen. Now, I don't know if that's the app, or I don't know if that's the way there was, I don't know what happened, but for some reason, like, "Oh, great uppercut." And I was like, they didn't throw an up, they threw a straight right. And then a second later, the uppercut came.
It was a good uppercut.
And I'm off. I was like, what the fuck's going on? And then later on, it was like, oh, he threw a straight right with like a little left hook or something like that. And they said like, I don't know, nice overhand right. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, and then the overhand right came right after that. I was like, this is so strange.
So they're preparing you for it.
Yeah,
See?
there was
That's
moments.
how good they are.
I am gonna say this. I'm going to recommend to Bellator, when we do our shows, that between rounds they play music, because the other corner can hear the other corner's advice to their fighter, and they talked about that a lot tonight. They need to make that adjustment, because now if I'm a corner and I know this, is I'm going to have one of my corners just trying to listen to them. And I'm going to have the other guy, I'm going to have my corners. So when they go back into the cage, okay, watch out for the push kick. Watch out for the takedown, because you're hearing everything they're doing. You've got to have something in the middle. Why not play music? It's not bad. You have walkout entrance music.
Bellator usually does.
What are you talking about?
They usually do play music between rounds.
So does normally the UFC, I think. Yeah, I don't know why they're not doing it now. I thought they do. Don't they normally play between rounds?
I
think they do.
I know I have heard it. I don't know if it's all the time.
I believe. Yeah, I don't know if it's all the time either. Anyways, but it makes sense. Play it between rounds, and so then the corners can corner their fighters without other people having to hear. They had
to bring their because they have a DJ that they bring.
Because they have the walkouts. Yeah, they play the walkouts. I don't know why they're not playing between rounds. They should though. So then, just my 2 cents on how to maybe fix that, and I'll make
things fair.
Yeah, I'll make.
You're all about fairness there, Josh.
That's a lie. If you're not cheating, you're not trying, baby.
That's a lie.
Not cheating, not trying. Look, we had a wonderful Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Thanks to you guys. I want to tell you guys, we outpunted the coverage on viewerships for our videos. If you guys haven't seen
so thank you.
Yes, it was amazing. Our viewership our viewership for our top 3 videos, I mean, we're talking in the 400,000 view range. The only problem that I want to complain about is, hey guys, we're
not complaining.
I'm complaining. We have 400,000 views. Hit the subscribe button, you guys. Thank you guys so much. Amazing. We're happy that you guys are following us. We're thankful for it. You guys are doing a wonderful job. Please share our videos. Hit the thumbs up on YouTube. Subscribe to SoundCloud, Google Play, Spotify, iTunes, all those as well. And I don't think there's really anything else for us to cover until Saturday. Guess what? We got fights again. Fights again on Saturday. This is pretty nice.
Yeah, not bad at all.
I mean, it kind of makes sense to have them on Wednesday, just to be honest. I mean, there's nothing going on. Everyone's sitting at home doing nothing.
Hey, did we talk about the fact that the UFC is inducting Geroges St Pierre into the Hall of Fame? We did not, did we? We are horrible human beings.
So he's not coming back.
Especially you.
So he's not coming back then?
Oh, come on. How many fighters do they have that are currently fighting that are in the...
Just BJ, right?
Thing? No. Diego Sanchez, his fight was...
Oh, his fight's in, but he hasn't retired yet. I'm saying like he's not in, but his fight is.
No, see, that's what's weird about it, because it should be the fight goes in.
Yeah.
But it's actually they take the 2 fighters. Whatever, okay. Yeah.
So it's Diego and who? Gil?
No, Clay Guida.
Oh, okay. I was like, the Diego and Gil fight was
that was a great fight. Oh, that was a good fight.
Wow, interesting. Yeah, I called that fight from the stands. They had a camera on me, and I called that fight from the stands. It was pretty fun. I was sitting right next to Roger Clemens, and who's that rapper guy? Oh gosh, what was his name? Something Paul. Do you know who he is? Something Paul. White guy. He actually
Vanilla Ice.
No. He used to manage Brooke Hogan, Hulk Hogan's daughter. Something Paul. I think it was something Paul.
Anyways, so GSP
not a rap guy, huh? Not a rap guy, huh?
Screw the rap thing, man. GSP, that's absolutely should have been done even beforehand. He deserves it more than anyone. I can't think of a better person. So congratulations to Geroges St Pierre. That is well deserved. That's what I wanted to say.
Most definitely. He is he's my number 1 on my Mount Rushmore. He's the number 1.
He's a good one.
I can't think of another one right now that would compete with him. Not one person.
Yeah, and this is the whole thing. Not only was his performances inside of the cage were incredible, and always conducted himself like a true professional. Outside of the cage, he did the same thing. He represented the sport beautifully. So just absolutely deserves that honor, and I'm glad they're giving it to him.
True story. I want to say it was when he beat Matt Hughes for the title.
Okay, UFC 65.
Sacramento.
Yep, 65.
We all ended up in a group going out somewhere. And from what I understand from the conversation I got between his manager at the time and whoever, some of his friends that were there, it was the first time he had ever been drunk. And it was hilarious. It was so funny because you could just tell that he was not used to it. Like he was, but even in that situation, great guy, laughing, joking, just, I don't even know, I can't believe this. And very, very excited about being a champion, but also very excited to be able to celebrate it with the people that he was with. And it was awesome to see. Just, you could tell, even to this day when I see him at, events, he's always very nice, very respectful to not just myself, but to everyone. And he's obviously one of the most, I think, loved guys in the sport, period. I definitely won't be one of those guys that's forgotten. And he's a phenomenal person and definitely a phenomenal fighter. So yes, congratulations, George. Congratulations on your induction into the UFC Hall of Fame.
Absolutely.
What else?
All right.
That's it, right? All right. Maybe we got to get tissue for Podcast Dave.
Everyone remember, Google, Spotify, Stitcher, go to YouTube and subscribe. That's what we need. We need you to subscribe. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. Hit the thumbs up. That shares our videos to everyone, and that gets our videos out. We love you guys. Subscribe, and we appreciate it. We'll see you guys, I think, Saturday night. Are we going to do this again Saturday night?
Let's do another one.
Saturday night. Here we go. I love all the fights.
Man, I get no sleep. This is horrible.
I'm sorry. All right, my man. I'll talk to you later. Pleasure.
All right, brother. Later.